Yeah, the mic duck went off. It wasn't fully charged, so apologies for that. Yep, I'm saying, look, maybe I should start afresh. I asked the question. I hope you're all eating blue, sleeping blue, working a blue, and overall leaving the blue life. More importantly, some topic, quite a few topic lined up that we'll have to talk about. Plus, as usual, it is an interactive show. You bring your topic, yeah, and with that, it becomes a lengthy show. And hopefully, we'll have a good fun today, as always. Um, that's by the way. I also did say something about Liam Lane that if you're watching, I hope you're recovering well, brother. Just remember you're loved, and I always remember about you. Let's see. Yeah, thank you for saying that. I would not have been gone on blah blahing without knowing it wasn't working. Thank you. I appreciate that, brother. Let's restart that shot. Yeah, I've restarted that. But that's by the way, I'm gonna come back to what I was saying about Kai. Big up to you too, brother. Activate lore module. I don't get that. Just maybe you have to educate me. The beautiful game, coach. I wish Bali would move like you and speak less. Meet, meet Bali. Now you're making fun about me. But that's by the way. I was saying about Kai. The news is that he had to leave the German national team coach. He was ill. Hopefully, he recovers just in time to play, at least to participate in the games up to the uh, quarterfinal stages. UEFA Champions League quarterfinal showdown against Real Madrid. Because no matter how you see Kai, he's a very important player for us. I hope he recovers. Because yeah, we can't do with any more injuries. Otherwise, the season will get worse for us. Reese is already out. I don't know how long it's going to be out. And if Kai joins him, and then we're in serious trouble. Yep, they say the coffee helps, but every time I drink the coffee, it looks like it makes the situation worse. Big up, coach. Would you take a Lavia at Chelsea? I would take him, but right now we're talking about Kai. Big up to you too, Mabast05. It has been a while. I haven't seen you. I hope you're doing well. Please do let me know. Yeah, I'll take Lavia. He's so young. No matter how you see it, I know he's a good player, but he's not of. Again, he's still raw. That's how I have to. I think that's a better way to phrase it. He's a good talent and would high ceiling in terms of what he's capable of achieving as a footballer. Smash the like button, people, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes do go a long way. Thank you so much for all your support. Sincerely do appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. Yep, let's see about Kai. I hope it's not that serious, but since it's an illness, it's usually a few days and the player will recover. But I hope that doesn't disrupt the form he's shown of late, because he's been one of our best players on the pitch. Um, illness can cause a disruption. I hope that doesn't happen. Mabasa says here, Madueke has to start on the right wing back. I don't know why Porter doesn't start him. We get to talk about that in a bit. He's a winger, and like Bobby Fairview did mention the other day, if you play wingers in a back three approach where we're playing with wing backs, then the wing back role becomes redundant, even the wing and vice versa. So it wouldn't make any sort of sense to start him. But if he learns how to apply himself as a forward rather than a winger and not drift to the right and cause a bit of overlapping, cause the roles to overlap or become redundant, then he's fine. Tuchel was able to achieve that with some of the players we have, but we started seeing the fan base you know complaining about players being played out of position. I don't want to see that situation again. But that's by the way. Thank you so much for saying that. Eugene, a big up to you. Who's that? Big up all our Chelsea brothers. Big up Kachila. Big up to you too, brother. I hope we can win in fight for Kone. I hope so. I heard that we're interested in signing him. I hope we sign him. I've looked at his stats, not that bad. He's so young. He's still just 21 in some days, which means he will improve with time. So I hope we win that race. But something else, the report, the club annual report showed we have a small loss, which means we have to balance the book too. If we don't, then we're not going to be spending that much in the summer. Brianu Rahaya says, I gave up waking up to the news GP is sacked. Now I am waking up expecting the club to post PR trust. The process news works better for my mental health. I think it does, honestly. I think that would be good for your mental mental health. Don't hold your breath thinking that they're gonna let him go. If anything, he stays to the end of the season, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't. I think you're better off learning to live with him. And chances are, if we win games, yeah, he stays even. It depends on how it can. Will take. I think they will take stock at the end of the season, and it depends on everything depends on how well we do get with regards to the remainder of the games. Then that's what will tell you whether he stays or leaves. But let's see what happens. Kai is all right. Our players are just being mindful of injuries leading up to the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals. Yep, winning Champions League is our priority. I think that's the case. I hope he's all right because if we lose him, we'll become weaker. Whether you think he's weak or whether you think he's not the best player on the pitch, but yeah, we have to make do with what we have. God of Frogs said the fact. Big up to you, by the way. The fact clubs who are doing all right this season sacked their managers before us, baffling even Spurs, even them. Yeah, you have to reiterate that. It's not that simple. I think if it was that simple, I honestly I'll say this: the owners would have by now sacked him, but it wasn't. It's not something you do, and you're not going to lose anymore. If you sack him, you spend nearly 16 million. Yeah, for what's it called for the payoff and all that. So if it was that simple, believe me, I'll reiterate that they would have sacked him by now. We are sinking to a new low. You could argue that. I think Madueke needs a space to do something he can be good from the bench when we have a lead and opponent must open. I don't. Here's the little what I've learned from him. He doesn't shy away from taking on opposition players. No matter how deep they defend, he drags them. He likes to run with the car. He likes to carry the ball, and he's a good dribbler. I don't think he necessarily needs space. If anything, he's the best solution for us if we play against teams that defend deep because he's a good dribbler and doesn't shy away from taking on opposition players. If that makes sense. But that's, by the way, for Kai Havertz. I hope he's okay. In the case of N'Golo Kante, we all heard that he played in the club's friendly against what's it called? In the club's friendly against Charlton. He played 60 minutes, and that's some good news. And but the more good news, the better good news is that he's again. I don't know how. Although I've said this 1,000 times, every time you hear N'Golo Kante is close to putting pen to paper for a new contract, I've heard that again. Hopefully, we get that done soon. That will give me a lot of hope, even if not for this season, the coming season. And it's a good thing that he's gone under the knife. And the belief is that he's taking care of whatever it is, the reoccurring injury that's been problematic for him. I hope that's the case. I just want to see him be fully fit. He's such an important player and will make a huge difference if he recovers fully. Yeah, I hope he puts pen to paper for a new contract. Let's keep him for at least 2-3 more years. He will go a long way for us. New DP Eugene. Yeah, very dynamic. Changes that all the time, but I like that one too. Big up Kachila panel and chat. Big up to you too. And like I asked before, Eugene, I hope you're doing well. So thank you so much. Give me a second, Pat. Let me take a sip of my coffee before I lose my voice. Yep, thank you so much. Nothing else about N'Golo Kante 75. If you have anything else to add there, you go ahead. If not, we move on. Let's go to this one here. We want to start from here. This is about with regards. Okay, it's this one here. Chelsea FC Holding Limited today announced its annual financial result for the year ended at 30th June 2022. The club made an overall net loss of 121.3 million. That's a lot. That's a lot. So, which means we need to balance it. I think I don't know. From the financial aspect, I'm not sure how things really works, but I'm sure it's important that we balance the books before we continue spending. If you're on the chat, let me know whether you think what you think about the situation. 121 million is a lot. I think the club could argue that the situation, that period when the club was stopped from selling merchandise and lots of financial restrictions were put in place and all that. I think those incidents then, or those you could say factors then, may have contributed to us losing 121.3 million pounds. Yeah. So if you're saying we're going to spend the other one in the summer, it's not going to be that simple. We need to again balance the book somehow for that to be possible, really. Because I'm sure, as much as I'm not an expert with the FFP rules, yeah, we can be losing all that much money and be spending that much money in the summer. So if that makes sense, how are we going to get to the point of balancing the books with 121 million? I'm not sure. To break even, I'm not sure how else to phrase that for it to make sense. Let's see what else we have here. So I want to get your thoughts with regards to the club. Again, overall net loss of 121 million. That's for the year 2022. It's not good. No matter how you say it, even if we're still able to spend in the summer, it's not good. I know there are a multitude of reasons, a myriad of reasons why that's the case. Despite the loss in the year and the operational challenges due to the sanctions, the club continues to comply with with UEFA and Premier League financial rules. Yeah, but that doesn't mean we're not going to again balance the books before spending. That's how I see it. Let's see what else we have here. I really don't think we need a striker in the summer. I think so too, but a lot of people think signing a striker, signing a point man, signing a traditional. Some people I agree we need a hybrid type of striker, not a traditional striker. Some people think doing that will solve a problem, but you forgot that we've seen the same movie with the case of Lukaku. We have a lot of players on the pitch miss chances. Kai Havertz have missed chances. Felix have missed chances, or let's say prefers to hit the woodwork or the goalpost, however you want to phrase it. We have a couple of other players who do miss clear-cut chances. So it's not like the whole chances we're missing have been the fault of a single individual. So signing a single individual as a point man there will not solve that problem, if that makes sense. If it does, it will be some, again, you could say, some percentage of it when the chances come through that individual. Let's see what else we have here. What do you think about Nkunku, Leao, Havertz up front? It would be an excellent pairing. But I still don't think Leao will come for cheap. I still think AC Milan will get him to put pen to paper, because I strongly believe the reason we didn't really go for him was because we sensed, or we were told, that he was going to sign a new contract at AC Milan as rumored before. That was why we went for Mudryk and for fit our pursuit of him. And him coming doesn't make any sort of sense. He's a winger, no matter how you see it. Him coming wouldn't make any sort of sense. And we're still questioning whether Graham Potter is going to be playing predominantly with a back three structure, or if he's going to be mixing it up. So it wouldn't make sense for Leao to come. And I think even himself will be a bit reluctant to come. Oh, yeah, I will be shopping at Megastore and up the revenue for next fiscal year. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't sound good, no matter how anybody sees it. I get it. If we get sponsors and they pay some amount of money, it's going to be huge for us and all that. But yeah, it's still a problem. It's a huge loss. I think we need to balance the book before we do the sort of spending. We embark on the sort of spending that people are talking about, are hoping to see in the summer, if that makes sense. And Kova, Enzo, Kante in the middle, that would be an excellent combination in the 4-3-3 structure. Santos, Kone, Zakaria on the bench, or maybe either of them could start. You don't know. Blessings to you too, Bobby Fairview. I appreciate you trying to join the show. Leao can play in the middle up front. I've heard that argument before, but will he be excellent at it? Because or will it be more like a makeshift front three, if that makes sense. But first, by the way, let me bring in Rodrigo. Big up, bro. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Big up, coach, and big up to everyone in the chat as well.
Always nice to have you on the panel. I know you've already seen what we have on the screen there.
Yeah.
Because we have a net loss of 121.3 million, which, you know, there are a couple of reasons, clear reasons why that may have been the case. The restrictions and all that during the sale conundrum when we're stopped from selling the club merchandise and all that. Do you think this shows that we're going to spend it a lot in the summer? For me, I don't think so. I think the priority would be to balance the books.
Yeah, exactly. I think we need to balance the book. I think it'll be sell first before buying. But one thing they said our revenue actually went up. Our total revenue for the year went up.
But it's still again. But you say for the past year or this year?
In that same, obviously that's a P&L, but the revenue went up. So in that same financial year, yeah.
But it's still in the minus.
It's not enough because obviously because maybe our expenditure is quite high. So yeah, so that no one.
Would you say because of our expenditure? I think it makes sense. It's common sense. Go ahead.
Yeah, no one that the club wanted to reduce the wage bill to start with as well, and put players on these incentive contracts. So, because the biggest cost at the football club in obviously when you just think about it logically is personnel salary. It's quite high. That takes a lot of revenues from football club. So that needs to be reduced. That's what model they're going for.
Yeah. So now anybody that's hoping that we're going to sign players that are like at least 50 million plus or close to 100 million, 4 players being mentioned, I really do not see the possibility. Yeah, go ahead.
I think we'll sign. We obviously when Nkunku and Malo Gusto come in, I think we'll sign a further 2 players. So we have like 4 new signings. I think we're not gonna send that many players.
We're not gonna sign that many, but I don't know why a lot of people think we'll still be spending that much money. But let's to humor Eugene here in the chat, who says Leao can play in the middle, but he's not excellent at it, and we don't want that situation where we're playing a player centrally because we have them and because we don't have any other player who will suffice, who's an expert in fulfilling that role. Would it make any sort of sense to sign Leao and say we're signing him to play centrally?
No, especially if the board they really want to sign Felix. I don't know why we signed Leao, and then we already have Modric. Modric will need a lot of support right now to grow into the player that he needs to be. So I don't think we need Leao. We should have signed him. If we wanted to sign Leao, it was before we signed Modric or have a pre-contract agreement like that. But now I think it's a bit too late.
Yeah, I think it is too. And I think Felix, go ahead.
I don't know if this is true. Eugene can correct me. I think you're probably looking at his height. You're thinking, yeah, it looks like a centre forward. Maybe he can play through the middle. But you don't have him as a makeshift centre forward when he's got. Because what's going to happen is in game, subconsciously or just by being comfortable, he will drift to wider.
To where he's comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't want to makeshift front anything makeshift in any position really. It doesn't help really. We struggle with Kai playing centrally, even though it's a fluid approach. He's still strong. We don't see his best until he drops it. That's by the way, Kachila. I think the verdict is on the experiment with hybrid strikers. They aren't clinical enough. We need people that will reliably put the ball in the back of the net. Exactly. That's what we have to be start. We need people. It doesn't have to be a striker. If we have a striker who's comfortable playing in a fluid approach where he knows it's not going to be about him once we get to the final thought or once we get to the opposition box, we're not going to start channeling every scoring opportunity through him. Then we're good. But the moment we sign a striker who's played as a traditional number 9 all their life, even if they come in and they participate in a fluid approach, if they're not scoring that many goals because everything isn't channeled through them, they will become frustrated. And even us will start blaming them for being part of a fluid approach where it's not all about them. I don't know how else to explain that, but I think, yeah, it makes sense now. We need people who's going to put the ball out in the back of the net. If that means a hybrid striker who understand it will not always be about them or about him, then we'll be good to go. Big up to you too, and Bobby, I'm waiting to get your verdict to hear what you have to say with the net loss of 121.3 million, of which you can say, yeah, we spent quite a lot, but the fact that we have that many loss isn't down to the spending. It would have been a bit less had it not been for the restrictions during that sanctions and all that went on at that point. I agree. It makes sense. Probably just selling. Yep. We have to sell quite a lot to balance the books. Let's get to this one here. This says Chelsea, PSG, and Man United are leading at the race for Manu Kone. Chelsea, like, I'm guessing the AR, it shouldn't be there. Chelsea like Declan Rice and Romeo Lavia for the midfield. Rodrigo, your thoughts, what should we do really? Should we go for Rice? Should we go for Lavia? Or should we go for Kone? But Kone isn't going to be easy, really.
Kone's not going to be easy. Yeah, we've all these other clubs in for him. And Declan Rice is not going to be easy either. I think Arsenal are calling for him. I think his head is probably turned to Arsenal. And I
really don't believe the rumors that he's going to prefer Chelsea over Arsenal. To me, that's all.
Those rumors either.
Go ahead.
Don't make sense. Why would he come here? I think of all of them, obviously, Lavia is the one. But with Lavia, my only point that I have is first of all, he's too young, and then another one is injury prone. We see he's always injured. He always picks up something. But in terms of, he's a good player. He's a really, really good DM. Yeah, I think the price will probably be similar between Kone and Lavia. Declan Rice will definitely be more expensive, especially unless West Ham get relegated. But it's going to be more expensive than the other two. So it's between Kone and Lavia. But then again, Kone, I don't believe Kone is your traditional sitter six. He's more of a roaming. He can do sort of both sides of the role, that goes up and down the pitch. Lavia is more of Lavia is your typical DM. Very good in tackle, very good at reading the game and passing as well. So it depends on the approach that we're trying to take. If we want to
which one do you prefer?
I prefer Lavia. I believe to have the best out Enzo, you need a midfielder partner who has more defensive output. I'm not calling a sitting DM. I'm just saying someone who his primary job is to win tackles, to enjoy the defensive side of the role. Not every midfielder enjoy that. So you need someone that enjoys it, that has high defensive output. And that's gonna free up a bit of Enzo role. Then you can have
Kone. Looking at Kone's statistics, I think he needs a bit polishing in terms of the defensive aspect of the whole thing.
Exactly.
He's still very raw, and that's coming. He's 21, but I think he has a fine player in him.
Love is 19. He's more polished defensively than Kone,
who's already 21.
Obviously, because Love is traditionally a DM, anyways.
Yeah, thank you so much for that one. Let's move. Let me see what people in the chat has to say. Maybe with regards to the financial stuff, I want to hear what they have to say. Look how Zinchenko can play in the midfield. I think Leao is class and he can play everywhere up front. But I agree, we don't need to buy him next season because of financial. Yeah, I think it's not going to be that simple. Even if it's available, it wouldn't make sense to buy him. Chelsea loves to concentrate on perceived diamond players outside and forgetting their own gems. Broya, Fofana, build your players. I think we can still mix it up with those players, but don't expect too many of them. Maybe in the future. And you see, here's the thing I want to say about Bolly and Cole. They're spending that much because they wanted to start well, but they made a huge mistake by firing Tuchel. So that put you could say, a huge dent on their plan to start big. They're spending big shows if they really want to start with, but they made a mistake. But in the future, I don't think they'd be spending that much. And
No,
that's why you're seeing them sign a lot of younger players, because they want a situation where if they want one position fixed, then they already have a player, maybe in one of the satellite clubs, like they're planning to have everywhere, a B ready or out on loan. Rodrigo, your thoughts, do you think we'll be spending that much money in the future?
no. I don't know if there wasn't a clause in the sale agreement that said they needed to spend something like £1.5 billion
So,
on the
so that's actually forcing them to spend even more right now.
yeah yeah
Go ahead.
yeah. So they're already nearly halfway through the figure. So once they get to it, then there's no need really. If you think about it, say in 5 years time, you only need to add 1 or 2 players to refresh the squad. You won't need to be adding what we had 6-7 players. It's not feasible.
No, it's not. It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. Especially if we're gonna build a stadium, we wanna have a young core, because you think about it, Badji Shilem, Enzo, Mark Modric, all these guys in maybe 3 years time, they're gonna be approaching the prime, and we may be building the stadium at that time as well. So when we move into a new stadium, we'll have like a team in the prime, and then you don't have to keep spending too much money. So I think I like the plan. I like what they did, but like you said, maybe the manager that they spent it all on wasn't.
That's where they made a big mistake, because
Yeah,
even if they weren't going to spend that much without that clause in the sale of the club, spending I think they wanted to start well. It would be good for them. Winning is good for business, but unfortunately, the biggest mistake was sacking the manager. Even I would have kept him to the end of the season, and Tuchel would have been happy to do that, if that makes sense.
yeah.
But they've made that mistake. Hopefully, they learn from it. But the truth is, we're not going to be spending that much money in the future, whether
No,
anybody likes it or not.
exactly.
Yeah, it's not sustainable. Plus, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not even for me. When I look at it, it's not even necessary. It's not even a nice thing to be buying 6-7 players every summer. That doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't. Plus, you have to. This again. You can say you won't have a unit. You won't have your team play as a unit if you keep doing that. Yeah, go ahead with what you were saying.
But yeah, you won't have a unit. You won't have cohesion in a team. So fair enough. I understood what they had to do. Like they had to do it very quickly, because maybe they heard through they heard like, oh, the UEFA might change the rules. So yeah, fair enough, they did that. Yeah, but they don't have to do it again this summer. This summer, I'll say 3 players are max coming in, and then that's it. Next summer, we might even have transfer windows where we only add 1 player, or we don't add a single player.
Yeah,
it
makes sense. Thank you, people, for 24 likes. If you haven't taken a second, drop a like on the stream. We need more likes so that the YouTube algorithm can push the stream to more people who'll be interested in this particular topic. The likes to go a long way. Bobby here says, Kachila, the only people that reliably put the ball in the back of the net is a striker. When I thought he was on my side. We need a traditional striker. Sorry, man. I am done with the hybrids. They need too many chances to finish. Maybe mixing it up, but I wouldn't go to the extent of saying a traditional striker. Because here's my argument, it's not like a traditional striker wouldn't work. If we have Jose Mourinho, say bring it on. Even go get Osimhen. He would like that. He will get him to be scoring lots of goals. But with the way Graham Potter likes to play, I'd say give me a hybrid striker. Because I've explained why the traditional striker will end up getting frustrated, because they're used to them being the point of reference once his team gets to the final third. He's used to everything being channeled through him. Once that changes, at some point he gets frustrated, and the fans will get frustrated, because for Chelsea fans, they know that person as a striker. They don't care how else you contribute. They just want to see you putting the ball in the back of the net. But Rodrigo, your thoughts to this comment from Bobby Fairview?
Yeah, I understand your point, Bobby, but the problem is you have to look at the manager you have and what's his track record with quote traditional strikers. Does he use them? When you watch his system, does his system accommodate for traditional strikers? Because we might get striker in, and then what? And then they're gonna be struggling. We had the striker in, but we couldn't play with them. And then once they were on the bench, we played better. I'm talking about Lukaku and Havertz.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's not. First this manager need to establish a way of play, because I don't believe how we play now is how even he himself wants us to play. I think he's literally one of those he want to give results to maybe buy
Yeah,
him.
he just yep. He just wants result. Go ahead.
Yeah, buy him time till pre-season. Maybe that's when he's gonna start working on his own philosophy. Maybe, yeah. So we don't know. So we can't just get him a striker and then he's gonna ruin everything that he want to do. Because he said, I've read somewhere, Potter even said like, oh, Chelsea thought because they needed to score more goals, so they went and spent £100 million on the striker. It's not necessarily, you don't necessarily.
Thank you for pointing that. He is clearly saying he's not into traditional strikers.
Yeah, he said that himself. So you can fight us, but we're just telling you what this manager was. Like you said, if it was Jose Mourinho or any of these managers that use and improve strikers in the past, get striker in ASAP. I'll be on board with that. Because of the manager that we have, I don't know how a striker will really perform in his system.
It will actually be a learning process for him too.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
accommodate the traditional striker.
On top of the fact that he's under pressure at a big club, you add in a striker. Oh no, it's too it's too much. You don't make his life much easier.
No.
Oh no, yeah. I don't, because I want him to be gone. But
oh my goodness. Kone or wait instead of throwing money and stuck with a 6-7 rating players. If he's the best, they have their numbers. Then let them look at it. But his numbers ain't that perfect. But he's just 21, so I understand. Kone all the way writes his average. Kone can do live your job. It is a benefit if you have Kone. Okay. Isn't Kone like Bakayoko?
not a B word.
No, I think he's more agile. I think I would say he's more agile. Rodrigo, what do you think?
Yeah, from the few games I've watched of Kone, yeah, he's very silky on the ball, almost like a bit like Kovacic, like he can dribble past people on the ball.
And but Bakayoko don't do that much.
Don't do that. I think with Kone, I don't know, maybe for the games I've watched, I feel like he's more you don't want to restrict him, putting him in a defensive role. You almost want to allow him to go forward and impact the game further forward. But that's not
so he's more of a box to box than he is.
Yeah, he's good defensively, but not as good as say Lavia or Ugarte or these other typical defensive midfielders. You don't want to restrict him.
No, we don't want to do that, and we don't want any makeshift situation anymore. We want specialists.
We want especially
especially in that position. It's like a hybrid Kamavinga and Kone. Wow, yeah. I really have to watch him more. If that's the case, then he's a good. He would be good.
Go ahead.
I
think Kone is similar to Kamavinga. Even with Kamavinga, I feel like again because Madrid they have so many midfielders. I feel like he's a bit restricted playing him as a DM. You should pushing him more forward. When Chouameni he plays in a DM role, but he's actually better if he's released from his shackles and he can run forward.
Thank you for that. Bobby Fairview, you see your favorite analyst is on the panel today, so I know you're not going to go anywhere. This is one of that loss. A quarter of that that loss is a result of sacking TT and appointing Potter. The Potter payoff will be a setback for next year. That's what I'm saying. I think that's one of the reasons why they haven't sacked him is the payoff is huge. It isn't that simple. And I'm not sure if there's a loss that says if this happens and that some sort of clause on Porter's contract that says if this happens, And if that happens, then we're going to sack you without that much money payoff. Because if they don't have such clause, then we're doomed, which means they're going to find it difficult letting him go. But no one understands FFP. I still think the spending will get to 1 billion. Wow. Let's be realistic. Football is not just a stats, especially midfield, brain engine, and and heart of every team. Yeah, I agree with you. It's not. Go ahead, Rodrigo. You were saying something?
No, I agree with you. Midfield, it's not just It's I agree with what you said.
Okay, no worries, brother. I see your private message. No, that's okay. Morning to you too, Chelsea Blue. I hope you're doing well. I agree, Rodrigo. I will buy Mbappe because we need a Ballon d'Or candidate to be favorite every year for UEFA Champions League. I think Bali wants him. I'm not going to be surprised if we get him, but how easy it is signing PSG president, I don't know. I think they're going to do all they can to keep him. Cavani was traditional number 9, and he needs more chances in beginning to score. If you remember, also Benzema was struggling in beginning in Real with chances. I think Benzema case there are other reasons. Ronaldo, he was in the shadows of Ronaldo. Ronaldo didn't allow him, be the man that he would have been had he.
The advantage of having a traditional striker is someone that's going to occupy the centre backs, because when you have a hybrid approach, sometimes the centre back have no one to mark, and they can stay in their position. No one is dragging them in the channels, or no one is challenging them physically. Maybe sometimes that could happen, but that also you can counteract when centre backs are following their markers around. Then that open up space. So I can see why. When you can see on the eye test, you can see when you have a number 9, someone like Ivan Toney, you can see him the way he was bullying the Arsenal, or watch Arsenal Brentford, the way he was bullying Saliba and Gabriel. You can see this guy's giving them a hard time.
And here's the thing, it's an advantage, but the biggest problem is if you really want to do that, if you're a big team who prefers playing with, again, a fluid approach, and you want a number 9 in case you want to mix things up, it's difficult to find a number 9, world-class number 9, who say, okay, I'll sit on the bench, except certain games where the manager feels like he needs me, then I can come in. You don't see that all the time. You get my point now.
Yeah. Coach,
go ahead.
What you talking about striking? What you thought of Osimhen against Guinea-Bissau?
That should let people know that it's going to take a while, even if it comes to Chelsea, especially with a manager who doesn't traditionally play with the traditional number 9. It becomes a problem. He needs time. You need a lot of adjustment to accommodate him. That's because Nigeria is in Napoli.
Exactly.
So, and if he comes to Chelsea is in Napoli. You'd have to buy the whole Napoli team for him to come and hit the ground running immediately. It will take time, and that's especially true with a manager who doesn't like to play with the traditional number 9. If people play, I think Bobby watched it and come onto the panel and said, "Yeah, I think I'm beginning something like to the effect that he's beginning to rethink his call for Chelsea to sign Osimhen." That doesn't mean Osimhen is a bad player, but Nigeria is a Napoli, if that makes sense. Exactly. And he didn't just start firing on all cylinders at Napoli. Go ahead, Rodrigo, if you wanted to say something.
No, that was just a surprising result, to be honest. I didn't even know Guinea-Bissau that good.
Yeah, because Nigeria is a star-studded team. It needs a lot of work for it to work. But that's by the way, that's why the result doesn't make sense. So let's see how well they do away to Guinea-Bissau today.
Oh, it's today?
Yeah, I think it's today, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
so with regards to the other stuff we talked about, Rodrigo, here's what Chelsea are saying. So it's not going to be that simple. Let me go here. You see here, it says, breaking news, Chelsea state government sanctions imposed on former owner Roman Abramovich were a factor in the club posing losses of 121 million. Like as if we knew. I just saw that on my update screen. I said, okay, let's read it. Yeah, so the club, if you're expecting Chelsea to spend that much money in the summer, it's not going to happen.
No,
it's not going to happen. That's why I'm even questioning the possibility of us keeping Felix, because it's not cheap.
It's not gonna be cheap.
Yeah, maybe if we win the Champions League, it makes a huge difference. But if we don't win it, and
Especially
that makes
if
it
we don't
even more
qualify.
difficult firing Potter, because it adds to the whole issue. Go ahead, Rodrigo.
Yeah. Especially if we don't qualify for next season's Champions League. I don't think we will qualify. Even for next season, that's why people don't want us to be in Europe. I understand that, but for revenue and for financial need, we need to be in Europe next season. Even if it means Conference League or Europa League, we need to be in Europe next season.
Just for the financial reasons. If it wasn't for that, I would say let's leave again. Let's miss out on Europe and concentrate in the league next season. I like Modric. He's a player I really want to cook at Chelsea. I think he will, but he may well take time. But you ever notice that how confused that confused look on his face, a lack of confidence. I don't think he's confident right now. Something is quite off. He needs time. And if Potter handles it well, I think he will come good.
I think it's the language barriers as well. Moving to a new country. Your parents are still in a war zone.
In a war-torn country, yeah.
But it's a lot of things that goes through someone's mind.
Yeah, he's a human being.
You have to constantly think of your family being in a place like that.
That's the truth. I get it that Potter doesn't play with a striker. Potter teams don't score goals. And that is the point, and part of why he needs to get out of there. Or maybe he needs to find a way to work on our finishing. I'm not sure. Because it's like, we even when we create a lot of chances, we miss a lot. So I'm not sure how he deals with it. But
And Coach, what's the difference between him and De Zerbi? De Zerbi literally has the same squad that Potter had. And then
their goal scoring has improved.
Has improved, yeah. So
sorry for the tapping right there. I know that's what you were. So sorry for the tapping. Big up, Coach. How are you? I'm well. How about you? I hope you're doing well. Glenn. Big up, Coach. Rodrigo and Chad. Big up to you, Glenn. It would cost Chelsea in the region of 52 million to sack Graham Potter. Can we spread that over 8 years? No.
We can do what Bayern.
Yeah,
what Bayern have done. They kept Nagelsmann on the payroll. We keep Potter on the payroll until he find another job.
Oh, is that how the situation is?
Yeah.
We did that with Conte, right?
Yeah.
Was that Conte? I think we did that with Conte. I don't remember.
Conte,
yeah, it makes sense because the club comes first.
Mm.
The club comes first. Camavinga's style of play, modern football. Let's say, Coach, what's the point of having a striker if Potter does not play them anyway? We have two that he isn't playing actually. That's Fofana, I get it. He can suffice for a winger. He can play in the wing or in either of the wing flanks. But still, he sent him to go train with the
under 21.
With the under 21s. And Aubameyang, according to Potter's comments, Aubameyang hasn't done anything wrong. Why not keep him in the squad?
Exactly. You remember when Aubameyang had the nice goal scoring streak before we play Brentford. So he scored against Milan and a few games before Crystal Palace and stuff. So striker, like the guy said, strikers is really related to form, confidence and form. You can't just drop them and then when you bring them back in, you kill the confidence. So I don't think he has strikers, but he didn't use them. So why spend £100 million on a striker that he's not gonna use?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sort of sense. Sack Potter now and sack two players to recoup the money. Do you need me to tell you which players? No. Stop there, please. Don't tell me. Eugene, just saying hello to Eugene there. Let's see. Yep, Ronaldo, but Benzema was problems always when he was okay. Yeah, I think I understand that. If we get most of our targets by this summer, regardless of FFP trying to cherry pick clubs like CFC to sanction by then we're already set. The team is probably a good to go. I get it. But it's not going to be that simple. Balancing the books is going to be very difficult. But yep, I'm against number 9. Just to say, people. Okay. I think I'm fine. That was hard to read. Sorry about that. Mudryk came out of Kate's Academy 6 months ago. I can imagine he needs time. It's like my son would have jumped up from his academy to CFC first team. That would that would be fair. I don't think it's that simple. Coach, how much total goods in items of dollars will you be spending on the megastar? Curious. I do spend a lot every year, and this year I haven't. But I'm not going to, because of 121 million.3, be spending to help. How much am I going to spend to even come close to helping them? Coach, I don't know how I feel. I want Potter to succeed, but I am feeling like he killed all hopes with us. He is depressing a little. Well, at least that's a little. At least you're still alive. With that manager contract salary stretching with Roberto Di Matteo. Oh, probably out of respect. Out of some measure of compensation there. If you look at our training, our players can score. They can put the ball in the back, past the line. But in real games situations, they are under pressure. Unlike in training, Potter needs to explore this in training. I think he needs to find a solution to it. Good morning, Coach. Mesole Oladipupo. Good morning to you too. I hope you're doing well. As part of the Chelsea sell agreement, the owners are apparently required to invest 1.5 billion over 10 years, but they've blown that on, close to that. Yeah, exactly. In the year. We spent 600 million of that already. I am sure the losses affects acquisition. Yeah, it's common sense. You can't keep spending if you're losing. Coach, I know you didn't ask, but I'll tell you anyway. The players you sell Ziyech for sure. Ziyech was going to leave anyway. Gallagher, I suspect, may well leave. Pulisic, I can't say for certain what's going to happen, but Gallagher, it still remains suspicion for me, and there's a chance they want to keep him for a reason they know better than I do. To me, I think it'd be better off developing elsewhere because where does he belong in this team? It's not clear to me. I think there's a good player in him, but I think he needs to be playing a lot. Do you need any more? No, please don't tell me anymore. Coach Potter will be fried. Will be fried today again until his lawyer finds some time today. We're not frying him right now. I think we're being objective here. I think there's a possibility to sell Pulisic cost on his IG. You can find a post with Chelsea more than 1 year. Is it? Cannot find a post for Chelsea more than 1 year, which means he's not loyal to the club anymore. I think that's some investigative work there, but it doesn't mean nothing. I think it means a lot.
Yeah,
to me, I think it means a lot. They don't have the cajones to sell Pulisic. Yeah, for a multitude of reasons. One, business. He brings the money in, especially now that we need to balance the books. But let's see what the two. Rodrigo, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that one.
Yeah, Pulisic. Oh, did you hear what he said about his favorite position and stuff? He likes to play as an inside forward, to the left or behind the striker and stuff. Actually, that's a position he's playing in a 3-4-3 when he's on the left. He has to compete with Felix. He doesn't. Yeah, I don't think himself as a traditional left winger. He sees himself as a inside forward or behind the striker. Yeah.
Yeah, some argument right there. Yeah. I think it makes sense. So let's talk about this man. I don't believe the rumors because I think it's all nonsense. The rumor said that we're willing to pay up to 100 million. It's everywhere. But I still think all rumors, really. It doesn't make sense. Some are saying we're already in a 100 million pounds bid.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? I don't think the club will do that.
No.
One more. I think the club will also still have PTSD with regards to the Lukaku situation.
Yeah.
That's not me saying Osimhen is Lukaku. I know Osimhen is a better player. He has a better touch, better ball control, at least can dribble better than Lukaku. But I think he will give the club PTSD, given that he's coming from an Italian league. He's firing on all cylinders there. I get it. Will he be able to do that in the Premier League? I can't say he cannot. I can't say he can until it happens. But your thoughts, 100 million, I think it's absolute nonsense, really.
Yeah, and especially if Napoli win the Serie A, oof, you got no chance. If they win this, obviously they will win the Serie A. If they win the Champions League on top of that, 100 million, the De Laurentiis is not even gonna pick up the phone, let alone
Oh,
entertain
yeah,
him.
he will not.
No, no, he's one of the. He's like a cult hero in Naples, Osimhen. They're not gonna sell him that easily. They're not gonna sell him. He's gonna cost a lot of money. I think you're gonna go all the way up to like 120, and even closer to 150 to get him to sign. But even if you sign him again, our issue is it's not the quality of Osimhen, is the manager that we have. Has he ever worked with someone like Osimhen in the past? Does he even know? We didn't know how to use him the way they use him in Naples. It's difficult because if you sign him for 120, even 100 million, you bring him in, the expectation on him is gonna be too high. When we
No matter
know,
how you see it, yeah, the
no matter how you see it, we know it will need
pressure
time
is
to.
always there.
Exactly. We know if we sign Osimhen, he might need even 6 months to adapt, but there's no time for that. So you need a manager that will help him bed in and adapt his game. A manager that knows how to use strikers like him, would have used strikers in the past like him. So I don't know. I'm not as confident. It's nothing to do with his ability. I think it's just our situation right now.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't think we should be looking. I don't think the club would do that, actually.
No.
Look at that situation, 121.3 million pounds loss, how
Loss.
much was spent already. Yeah, I don't think we'll be doing that. And it's not going to come cheap. Even Felix, that's on loan at Chelsea, there's no guarantee we're keeping him.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't want to hear that. It sounds easy. It would take it would take maybe that sort of thing that Man City did, get their parent company to sponsor them and pump in a lot of money and balance the books easily. I think it would take that sort of move for us to be ready to spend that much money in the summer. I get it. The rumors are that we're still looking to sign two high-profile midfielders. Sign this. It's not going to be that simple. Yeah, let's see what we have there. Buy this FC, but no results. Yeah, it keeps saying that, but I hope you're doing well. Yep, it can mean a lot, but it's not evidence. We cannot be sure. But I think, like you, Coachella and Rodrigo, thank you so much for aligning with us. So you're in our gang now.
Yeah.
I'm just warming up the barbecue today. A special is a roast porter in, in chuck sauce. Be careful how you phrase that. PTSD, yep. Honestly, I think they will. I know they've sacked quite a lot of people. A lot have changed out the club, but I'm sure the Lukaku situation will make them think twice. Really, I don't think they'll be risking that. But that was PTSD on the previous regime. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. It's still from Italy to England. At least that part, if that makes sense. Yeah, the regime's aspect remains, but I don't think there's any day that will come and go without Todd Boehly and co thinking about how to sort out the Lukaku situation. If that makes sense. Ziyech also something like Pulisic, a bad character and toxic player. I wouldn't say bad character. I don't know them individually. The fact that Ziyech wants to leave, I think I have a solid argument as to how Tuchel treated him, even when he was in better form than Timo Werner. Werner kept starting. So that's enough reason for a player to decide he wants to leave a club. There's a big gap between a beautiful and Bali. There's a gap between need to sell and actual sell. That word need to that word need to fire. Been doing rounds with fans, but it doesn't exist in Bali's dictionary, possibly. So yeah, the new regime knows not any of those. They're just looking at 120 million Enzo. Very, very worthy to the penny. Maybe, yeah. Okay, maybe if they're not paying attention, up to them. I agree, Rodrigo, too expensive. But even without big money, I still think Osimhen is. I wouldn't say he's overrated. I would just say he doesn't fit at Chelsea. But that's your opinion, and you're entitled to that. Look at him and his ability. Napoli's owners is rich. That's why his players are not cheap. He's never pressured to sell.
He said something about he gives them a movie film star contract. no one.
Who said that? Lorenta said.
Yeah, because his background. I think he comes from film.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he's a hard man to negotiate with.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Last show, we had Mudryk as first choice left forward. After yesterday's performance, what does Rodrigo think about him? I wouldn't judge him from that game, really.
No.
I wouldn't, really. Here's the thing. If we're going to... Some people bring up his performance off the bench against Liverpool, but that's me. Let's get Rodrigo's thought. For me, Mudryk is not Chelsea level, and his price tag does not permit patience. Really?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rodrigo.
Yeah, I wasn't here. Whoever put him left as the left wing first choice, it wasn't me.
No, it wasn't left wing, inside forward. Maybe.
Inside form. I still think Sterling should start ahead of him, or even Felix. But that's not to say Mudryk is not that good. I think Mudryk has the potential to be a very, very good player, scary player. He's one of those players. When he picks up his confidence, when he's comfortable with his surrounding, I think we have one of the best players in Europe. We just have to be patient with him.
That's we have to. And how he's been here just for 3 months.
Yeah, he hasn't played enough games. In January, he hasn't played enough games. He hasn't. We need time with him. Someone like Mudryk. I think he needs to sail under the radar. I love that. I think right now, people like Felix, Henzo.
Too much focus.
Yeah. The focus should be on the other guys. I think you fly under the radar. Before you know it, you're like, boom, we have a player on our hand. And I think we have.
Yeah, I think we have a good player in our hands. And there isn't too much to judge him with, actually. How many times has the manager... Yeah, how many times has he started?
Yeah, exactly. There isn't too much to judge. And this is one of the things, maybe I agree with the manager for not starting him, but I don't agree that he doesn't bring him off the bench, like when he brings in Gallagher.
Yeah, on time.
But I agree not starting him. That's fair enough, but you need to bring him off the bench, slowly integrating him.
Yeah, that would go a long way for him. Give him the Xavier now. You see him start fighting on Arsenal, that he was his coach at Shakhtar Donetsk, and he knows him quite well, and you've heard him speak about him. But Coach, you didn't want me to tell you the players on my list. If we sell all the usual suspects, we will have a profit. The guys you're probably talking about selling are all in the final year of their contract, so that makes it difficult to get a lot of money from them. Regarding BBQ, that's a vegetarian option. You can leave. Just go. You two should go away. PTSD, yeah, indeed. Bali is like that person who has too many things lying around in his house. Buys everything, but doesn't need, but does not know what to do with them, and needs his wife to clean the house. Okay, thank you, JC. Big up to you, Chelsea Blue. Coach, only 2 strikers I want, and one will help us with the EPL immediately. First, I want Toney. Okay, Ivan Toney. We would get top 4 for sure with him this year. I'm not sure. But if we get Kane, good luck on that one too. Kane or central attacking midfielder, we are winning the Premier League. You're talking about next season, not this season. I guess that's what you're saying. Let's see what else we have here. I think it's most likely we don't get the type of Chelsea we want with Potter. You have to have the capacity before you can deliver. Potter's mentality is still mid-table type. Wow. Big up to you, the New York guy. I hope you're doing well. Goncalo Ramos or Kolo Muani. is who I want. I think those are more like a Potter type of strikers. What do you think, Rodrigo, if you're still there?
Yeah, especially Ramos. Yeah, Colomwani, I still have question mark because
Some people are questioning his finishing ability.
Yeah, maybe he's also young. He's basically Osimhen is a more refined version of Colomwani. Yeah, and his team are asking for 100 million. So, what? Yeah, Ramos is gonna be difficult. He's another Benfica player. Do you know how tough he was to negotiate for Enzo, and then to go in for Ramos? Ramos is the top scorer, so it's gonna be another difficult negotiation.
Mudryk price tag is based on what he can be, not what he is for now. I think the club knows that. I think he will get there, and I don't think the club will be willing to sell him. Franklin, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Judging by your argument, Bobby Zinchenko should be sold to Japanese league. Wow. He just has to put it all together. We have to, and the manager has to be his strongest motivator. By example, I think there was a game people expected him to start the next game after the Liverpool game, and he didn't start.
Yeah.
Then we're hearing he had a code. There was one he started. I don't remember whether he started also.
He started and he was.
But sick. He wasn't himself. I think he will come good. Just give him time. But like I said, Potter has to be his biggest motivator. That includes starting him when he shows good performance, and not if he shows good performance, then you put him on the bench. After the Everton game, I think he should have started the next one. That could have gone a long way for him. Let's see. Bro, look at our squad on paper. We have double what certain clubs need to win the league, and yet we're not seeing good enough performance. Big up to you too, Chelsea, all the way. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. My problem is Mudryk's fitness, because obviously he cannot play 90 minutes. I think he trains very well. I think the least of my concern really is his fitness, but I don't train with them. But let's see. From what we're seeing, it gives me the impression that he trains very well. Why 2 months in club? Players after big injuries are fitness already before Mudryk. Question for Chelsea. I'm not sure how to respond to that one, really. Let's see. What else do we have here? Colomwani is better fit for Chelsea style than Ramos. Moani is class. Trust me, Rodrigo. I don't know whether Rodrigo trusts you. He has to say that himself. Colomwani is I think both are hybrid. Both are not just stereotypical forward, if you want to phrase it that way. I think both would do well under Graham Potter. But the question is, are they going to start, we're going to start scoring goals? Potter cannot motivate himself, let alone motivate a player. There's some argument right there. Mudryk is rusty, because he used the term rusty. Yep, I think he will come good. According to Potter, no player trains as much as Mudryk. I don't think he has fitness issues. That's what I'm saying the same too. I don't think fitness is his problem. I think he has to do mindset or let's say confidence, but I think he will come good. We've seen Mudryk for 8 games. How many minutes in 8 games? Those 8 games in total. Yeah, how many minutes in total? But I get you have every right to present your argument, but my counter argument is that I think he will come good. I think we just have to be patient with him. There are a multitude of reasons why his case is as it is right now. And we heard before we signed him, actually, he hasn't played football for a while, given the situation in his country. But yeah, I get where your argument is coming. Let's just remember we had this conversation here, and I told you he's going to come good. He says, I have seen nothing to suggest he will be one of the best players in Europe. In 8 duels won, no chance. No chances created. Pocketed by Walker. What else are we waiting to see? A lot. He's still young, if that makes sense. I don't know if you have anything else to say with regards to that, Rodrigo.
Yeah, it's too early, Bobby. You give him time. Give him time. He will come good.
Yeah, chillax for the kid, man. Chillax.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not. I think he's still in pre-season mode. You can tell the way.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, because
he'll come good. Go ahead.
Even yesterday, like tracking. There was a bit where he should have tracked. What's his name? Saka, but he lost him. So he's just that. extra bit like you get from preseason. So right now it's like watching him in preseason. So I'm not worried at all. If he's performing like this in 2 years' time, then I'm start having question mark. But right now,
even in a year's time,
even in a year, yeah. I'm not right now. I'm not even looking at him. Right now, I think we have. He shouldn't be. Obviously, we spend a lot of money. I understand that, but it shouldn't be the focus on that team because we have ready-made stuff. We have Sterling, we have Felix that can take the burden off people like Modric that need to perform instantly because Felix is a ready-made player. Sterling is already there. So we have enough players in our forward attack. And then he the only thing I'll ask the manager is bring him in when you have to, when there is time, 10, 15 minutes here and there, 20 minutes. Slowly you building his fitness, his match sharpness. Because putting him on the bench doesn't really help either.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's a way you treat him. You'll be adding to his lack of confidence.
Yeah,
rather than
drop him. He's nowhere to be seen. Like, come on, that's not how you look after the Liverpool game. And then I don't know what happened. I don't remember who we played next. I think Palace. Was it Crystal Palace? I don't know who we played next after Liverpool. It didn't. I don't think he played.
And plus, here's the thing: that argument that he had a code. My argument on that particular game: if you had a code, you shouldn't have started him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because if you have a code, to me, whenever I have code, usually it affects your reason. Sometimes it can be so. I know it's not the most painful thing, but it can impair your judgment because you can hardly concentrate. I don't know, but why would you start him if you had a code? You had to tell us he had a code. After that, he didn't do well on that game on the day. But that's, by the way, we're moving from that. It's just according to Porter. Yeah, maybe. People so quick to judge, man. Which is, again, we're all entitled to our opinions, and that's why we have a show. People present their opinion, then you present the counter opinion. And Deshaun, the New York guy, I hope you're doing well, brother. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Modric has had 15 minutes appearance in most games. I think he has had only one start, and he was all right. I think 2 starts in total. Didn't he start against Everton, right?
No, he didn't start against Leicester.
He started against Leicester. Then one when he had a cold. That's 2 starts.
No. Fulham. He started against Fulham. That's where he had the cold. He started against Dortmund, and then he started against Leicester. So 3 starts.
And against Dortmund, he wasn't bad.
No, in Dortmund game, no. He was average.
Yeah, he wasn't. And there are games where the roles were overlapping. One of the games was, again, the one was Cucurella was blamed largely for his poor performance. The other one was Mason Mount was blamed for overlapping, for drifting into that position where he shouldn't be, and then it caused confusion. So there are a multitude of reasons when you look at them. I think he's had only 2 starts overall, 3 starts overall. He's been here for 8 years. Who are you talking about? I think he's being sarcastic there. I think so. That shows Deshaun has been sarcastic. As the Zabi said, Modric can become world class. Can Potter say that? The Zabi was the guy that you could say Modric showed his best form, so he probably knows Modric better than Potter does, if that makes sense. Madueke played really well. We'll talk about him in a bit. I agree with you guys about Modric potential, but his fitness doesn't look good. Maybe you could be right. After every sprint in seconds half, he loses ball control. How can that happen if you train more than two months? Wow. Okay. Leao had a good game against Luxembourg, which does not make him the Mbappe go down. It was Ukraine against England. But Ukraine, they usually have a very good team. You do not spend 88 million on a player and then talk about giving him time. What crazy world are we in? Maybe like who was that in the chat that said he was signed because of what he can do, the heights he's capable of reaching, not because of what he can provide immediately. But I think immediately actually he's capable of providing something, if that makes sense. Let's talk about this one, Rodrigo. This one here. A lot of Chelsea fans are being bent out of shape with regards to Thomas Tuchel openly saying he wants Anthony Barry.
Yeah.
I don't think. Some are saying he's been disrespectful to Chelsea. I honestly do not think we have any right to question why he'd say that publicly.
Yeah.
The way we let him go.
Yeah.
But your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't see what the issue is. He said that publicly. I mean that it's just down to the clubs to agree. So people are criticizing the set pieces actually in recent games. So, why are we conceding from set pieces and Barry is not that good? So why are we complaining then? Let him go. Let him go and work under an elite manager and under for an elite club. He can achieve.
And he wants to learn too. Maybe he's seen.
Yeah.
And I heard he wants to live, right?
Yeah. Because obviously for Tuchel to suggest this, maybe he's spoken to him. Yeah, maybe he has something in the background that's been speaking. So you never know. Maybe they had a really good relationship at Chelsea. So for him to suggest that, I think we should. If they come and pay off his release clause, if he has one, I don't see what the issue is. We took everyone from Brighton. We can't be hypocrite. We took literally the whole backroom staff of Brighton.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I don't think we have any right to say he's disrespecting the club.
No.
No, I don't think so. I think he has the right to talk about he wants a certain manager in public. It's up to you to let the manager go or not. And I heard that Barry himself wants to join Thomas Tuchel. How do I see it? Because he probably has more to learn from Thomas Tuchel than he'd learned from Graham Potter.
Yeah.
It's a simple, and he won the Champions League with us, right?
Yeah. Basically, he joined under Lampard.
The club kept him because they liked him.
Yeah, remember under Lampard, we were conceding so many goals and set pieces in the Kepa season. And then the season after, we signed Barry, and then obviously worked with Lampard for 6 months, and then Lampard got fired and Tuchel joined.
Yeah. So just let him go. We don't have any right to say question why he said that in the public. I just don't. It doesn't make any sort of sense to me. Mudryk has to work on his control, coach. I think he has a good touch, really. I didn't just start following him after he joined Chelsea. That was why I was one of those calling for the club to sign him instead of Leao. He has the attributes, but he has to learn how to slow down with the ball and be composed. Maybe you're being factual here, and he has to. He's not a finished article yet. A product maybe. It's good to give players time, but we shouldn't just come forward with excuses for Mudryk. All the players will be slandered for those performances.
Stop players.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe you need to stop slandering players then.
I'm not into slandering players in my case, but I know you're not talking about me. I always like to keep it objective. And if a player needs time, we need to send him alone. He does not start for Chelsea. Unless see what happens. It's good we're having this conversation. So tomorrow, if it comes good, then we have a conversation. I say, I told you. And then if he doesn't, then you tell me you told us, as usual. And I know you'll be the first to say you told us. 88 million makes less impact in ball is upwards than 20K in purse of most fans. Why are we worried? Because I support the club. Maybe, if you understand that. We have best midfield in the world. Correct me if I'm wrong, Enzo. We do have the best. Plus, you could add Santos to that list. Add Casadei to that list. Maybe I may have left out a few actually. So you can breathe. I get it. Anthony Barry talks from TT is BS. Okay, TT's sacking was disappointing. What moral do we have to judge him? Exactly. That's my point. That's my point. TT can even take our content creators.
We're gonna become buying content creators.
I think if we're talking about morals, if we're talking about the fact that he spoke about it publicly, we don't have the right. We're talking about a manager who was with us at the time where there was a chance that we will not have transportation for our next game. And he said he's willing to drive us to the next game. if that's what it would take for us to play our game. He was the club's mouthpiece, the hierarchy. Nobody spoke publicly except him. And then we fired him, no matter the reason. I don't care. And it's even worse when you tell me it's not for footballing reason. It's even worse when you tell me it's something you discussed with some other football club owner that came out and said if any of us were Chelsea owners that would fire him too. I don't care. As long as it's not footballing reason and you're not willing to tell me what it was that he did, then shut the heck up and don't talk about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so what are you telling me? Talking about morale, talking about we don't have any right to judge him, really. We don't. Because we did him dirty, if that makes sense. Coach, I'm excited about your plan for 4-3-3. Yeah, we'll work on that. We still have 1 week before 9 games. Paris, we need your plan because Potter is watching. Yeah, we need to do the 4-3-3 exercise. Maybe not today, but let's see how far we can start it. But I don't think we'll finish it today. Some people bashing Mudryk, the same people saying give Kai Havertz and Mount time. Here's the thing: we all have. I think even as much as we try to be as objective as possible, we all have our favorite players. And I've learned over time that Chelsea fans, once the manager isn't favoring your favorite player, you'll be the manager's biggest critic. I learned that the hard way under Thomas Tuchel. Where's the fairness in that? Well, it's argument, it's our opinions. We're all entitled to our opinions, and that's why we have a show. We have good conversations, and we try to be as objective as possible. And I know Bobby can be objective, and he has. If you paid attention to him, chances are he convinces you and you believe in his point. But for me, I have questions. The club coming out whining that TT wants their coach is a Brighton mentality. These owners continue to embarrass our club. And if we're being factual here, if they really did this, it's not okay. They have no right to do that. But chances are they didn't do that. It's just the press.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens. Correction, coach. I'm excited about your plan for 4-3-3. We still have 1 week before 9 games of April. Okay. We need your plan because Potter is watching. You think he's learning from us? I think he's learning from what everyone is saying. Because if you're intelligent, even if you hate your critics, chances are there are some measure of truth to whatever they're saying about you. So if you want to improve, you have to pay attention to it. Even your harshest critics, there's a lot to learn from them. Potter's style of coaching is a classic example of a kid in a candy store that shies away from his favorite candy and can only take Chelsea as far as Potter. Be my guest. Wow, Chris. Do I need the MI6 to decipher that? But I totally understand your argument right there. TT declined Man United for us. I think Barcelona too. I think Barcelona also. Excuse me. Excuse me. Didn't he reject Barcelona for a sec? I think he was already our manager at that point. I don't remember.
Exactly. Yeah, there were talks. Yeah.
Yeah, and he could have gone. He could have gone. But no matter what happened, I don't know what the owners will explain tomorrow that will make me say, wow, you know what? They were right to have fired him. It doesn't make business sense. Yeah, it doesn't. Fans wanted to fire Anthony. Wanted to fire Anthony Barry for set piece training, and now the same fans don't like TT asking him. Yeah. And if I was Barry, I would, again, as much as I think, I know or believe the groundputter stays to the end of the season, as much as I'm not into holding placards saying Potter out, or doing hashtag Potter out on Twitter, I have questions. But I would say if I were what's his name, Anthony Barry, I would want to join Thomas Tuchel. It's a new experience for me. What's his nationality actually?
I think he's English.
He's English, right? So it's an opportunity to learn. He don't learn. It's an opportunity to learn the German way too. Mix it with your English preferred approach to football, I think he'd be a good manager. And I think he's respected, actually. The fact that, what's his name? The fact that Lampard wanted him, the fact that the club wanted to keep him, the fact that Thomas Tuchel spoke publicly that he wants him shows I think he's a talent. He's a coaching talent that we get somewhere, given the talent he has. Yeah, it doesn't make any sort of sense. I think Bobby Ferry is not Harvard's fan or Mount's fan. He's always objective. At least that's how I see it, and it doesn't shy. It's always it doesn't hold back in terms of presenting his argument with regards to any player's performance or anything the owners do. Coach, is there any chance of you inviting Potter to your stream for 4-3-3 planning? You can assure Roger that we'll be here to defend him in case a fire starts. That's why Roger is his lawyer, if that makes any sort of sense to you. So you're saying he's a coaching talent whom GP misused. That may well be the case, or maybe doesn't listen to him. Is that what you're saying? Possibility, because he was good under Thomas Tuchel, was good for Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, and the truth is, when you're in a group, if things aren't going the right direction, if it's down to lack of confidence, no matter what you do, it doesn't make any difference until the group, all as a unit, starts performing again. Then your inputs will go a long way, if that makes sense. Kachila, how you feel about Madueke and Chukwuemeka betray your country and play for England? My birth country. I'm an American, but yeah, I was a Nigerian before I became an American. I wouldn't say betray. That's a saying in my native language. I'm not sure how I'm going to interpret it to English. Something similar to, I think you say, you live for where you live for where you live. I think that's the best I can come up with.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
you live for where you live. You can also interpret it to you fight for where you live. For instance, you have you could say Nigerian British Nigerians who are in the British Army, but they still travel during holiday periods to Nigeria to celebrate Christmas or Muslim holidays with their family members. So does that make sense? So they were born in England, they were born English, and they decided to represent England. So I don't feel bad, but in most cases, I usually do hope some of them decide to represent Nigeria. We've had some play for the United States also, like Oguchi Onye, who could have played for Nigeria if you wanted. I think there are other players too that I can mention. But they live for where they live, if that makes sense, or the country where they reside. Maybe that makes better sense. That's the least of my concern. I think some of them made a mistake. Some of them, like waited. The former Newcastle number 9, I think, is an attacker. Waited so long for an England call-up. It didn't happen before. Amiobi, right? Yeah. Before he decides he wants to play for Nigeria, it was a bit too late. Nigeria accommodated him. His younger brother never did, and I wanted his younger brother, if he had done that earlier in his career, I think club he'd get more exposure, because you get to play more on an international level, and more clubs will see you. But if you don't make up your mind, and you're not playing nationally for any country, internationally on the international level for any country, the only time clubs see you is when you play for your club side, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. We also have the one for Aston Villa, who's a pundit right now.
Agbolaho.
He refused to play for Nigeria, probably a bit too late. And Nedumone refused to play for Nigeria. When Nigeria tried to get him to play for the country, he said he wanted to talk to his mom first. And when he wanted to come play for Nigeria, Nigeria didn't want him. So let's move on from that. But that's, by the way, the owners wishing, whining about TT was Matlaw, their official prop piece. So probably there's some truth to it if you say he's their official prop piece, if that makes sense. No, but I know you're joking, but we have to talk about it. It's okay. You keep blowing past me. Did I? Let me see, but put your comment again. I'm a human being, man. I don't have a studio engineer. I do the highlighting and the reading myself. Go ahead, Rodrigo.
You want to talk about Rich James' weight? He carries too much. You want Rich James to lose his weight.
You keep blowing past me. Saying Rich James carries around too much weight. You ready to talk about now? Do I think his weight is his problem? I don't know. I'm not a specialist. But Rodrigo, your thought.
Oh no, I'm not specialist either. we're gonna pass this topic a hot potato. No. Yeah. I think maybe
No, but it's hilarious the way he said you keep blowing past me, but go ahead, Rodrigo.
yeah. Maybe it's a source of his injuries. I don't know. Because he looks so bulky, but
he's lost a few weight.
He plays his football.
Given how big he was under Thomas Tuchel, I think he's lost a few weight. Do you think?
I think he still looks the same, to be honest. I think he looks more. Yeah.
I honestly do not think his hamstring, his size is his problem. We have bigger players. I think there's more to it, maybe. But this time it's hamstring. It's not the same problem.
No,
had it been this, yeah. Go ahead.
His hamstring. Oh my God, Rhys James. He's such a frustrating player.
It is. We need a serious specialist for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, if I skipped your comment, and I can't read every comment in the chat, but if I skip, because you don't have too many, and if I skip one of yours, apologies. But thank you for that. The problem faces Anthony Barry was training a set piece of 5 players out of 40 of a set piece, and when the game starts, every time Potter has a total different starting 11. Wow. I'm not sure what to make of that. Hushford, I hope you're doing well. Big up to you. Let's see what else we have here. Tammy Abraham. Yeah, Tammy Abraham, to a lot of them, really. There's Tammy Abraham, there's Ross Barkley, and who again? Yeah, Barkley could have represented Nigeria had he wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, even the Bayern Munich young kid, the Chelsea that left Chelsea Academy to Bayern Munich. So, sorry?
Jamal Musiala.
Yeah, Musiala, plus Bukayo Saka too. Yeah, Saka could have represented Nigeria if he wanted to. Fikayo Tomori and all those players. I didn't know that the way Noni Noni can represent Nigeria if he wants. I think he already made mention of that. I didn't know the way Noni and Chooks speak. They sound like they are English. They're Englishmen. They're English. They were born there. Yeah. Even Victor Moses, even though Victor Moses was born in Nigeria, but he had the opportunity to represent England because he played for them at the youth level. But let's move on from that. Frank Lampard has an underrated eye for talent, players or coaches. Pity he isn't a good coach. Otherwise, he could have been special. I think he has a good eye for talent, but maybe not a good coach. Yeah, I think that argument makes sense. Let Rhys James do surgery, but I think it hasn't been the injuries differ. It is one type this time and the other type the other time. If it was like one type recurring, then you could say he should go under the knife to correct it permanently, just like in Kante's case. But it has been one of this, then the other time. That's why he keeps getting injured. You think so? Adama Traore is much bulkier. Adama Traore looks much like a wrestler, actually. And he wasn't like that from start. Coach, where is the 177 formation? We'll get to that, so relax. Yeah, I can't find what you could argue to. But where would they fit? And was it that good? Don't worry about Coach blowing past you. At least he doesn't hate you and threatens to not reach you. He's saying what I say to him whenever he curses me. James will go on the surgery and Melo Gusto will play next season. I don't think he goes on the surgery under the knife for a hamstring injury. Do you think so, Rodrigo? I'm not an expert, but what do you think?
I don't know. I don't think you need to, but maybe
it doesn't have to. And plus, they say it's tagged. It's called. They said it's minor, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's not a recurring one.
Yeah. No, so I don't think he goes under the knife. Do you think do you think Reece James and Wesley Fofana faked their injuries like Rashford? No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
If they, because probably the countries are, you have to show report in most cases. If you risk it, if they find out, you'll be banned.
You'll be banned, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Pick
both
up
went.
Yeah, go ahead.
They both went to the national team, I think, and then at least for Rich James, I don't know about Fofana. I think that he did as well.
Fofana didn't even travel because we found out that he had that. So he didn't grace the call up. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't even. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough indeed. Yep, I agree with you. Big up everyone, and big up to you too. I hope you're doing well. Let's see what else we have here. I'm happy Kante play football on the. You have 60 minutes. That's excellent. He plays 60 minutes. I will go a long way. God bless Kante with more strength. I hope so too. I hope he comes back a stronger. I think he'd be available for us against Real Madrid. He played 60 minutes for that friendly that we beat. What's his name? Charlton. 3-0. I did not mean this reiteration. No, don't worry, brother. You're good. People should take it easy with Coach. If he misses your chat, he is one of the few content creators who read all comments and not only super chat. Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate that. I think he knows that, but he felt like I left him out, and I'm fine with that. He reminded me, and I felt bad too. But that's by the way. It's such a big issue. I thought Drogba went under the knife. Came out fine. It depends on the sort of injury you had before you go under the knife. I'm not sure. Rodrigo, you have anything to add, or should I go ahead?
No, just go ahead. No.
All right. Thank you so much. I did not mean this program. I said it on earlier program. Yeah, I know this is not the first time you're saying that, and that's not. It's not only you that have said that, and you read it, but did not address it. Okay. Oh, no, you talked about it another day, and we didn't address it, but we've addressed it now. I'm not an expert, and I don't think that's an issue because we have even bigger players. No, nobody would do that. It's a huge risk. Although we've had situations where people have fixed such, but they got into huge trouble. If I remember any, why is Coach using his brother account to get sympathy? Shame on you. You know I don't like you. You know that, right? What else do we have lined up here to talk about? If you're in the chat, if you have any questions, shoot, and we will try to address it. But let's talk about this man here. Rodrigo, I'm sure you're at least you live in England. I was going to say you're English. Let me just say you're English. Sorry?
British.
Okay, maybe. Okay, you're British. Okay. Subbed on at 66th minute. Then he got 1 goal and 2 assists for Noni Madueke. Yeah, he got 1 goal and 2 assists and got 1 man of the match. Even before this, I know he's a fine player. Not because, again, he could represent Nigeria if he wants, but because, again, I think it was when Sports signed him first, we were interested too. I started following him. He's an excellent player. He brings something different, something we don't have too many players in the team that's capable of doing. He takes on players. He doesn't shy away from doing that. And I think, given the little he has shown, he would do well as an inside forward, really, or one of one of the 2 8s if you prefer. But your thoughts on this talent we have on the screen, and if you're also there in the chat, your thoughts. I'm going to get your thoughts once Rodrigo is done speaking. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, he's a good player. Again, one thing, don't forget, he played for the under-21. Callum Hudson-Odoi used to do this in the under-21. It's the same thing with Santos, Andrey Santos. This is a kid game. When they play against man, that's where you see the skill. So I'm not gonna.
But still, against men, has he been bad? He hasn't. He's been
alright.
Well, but go ahead.
Nothing. He's been alright. I don't want to put too much pressure on him. Same as Modric. I think there's a lot of areas
expectation.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to put too much on his shoulders. I think he has a lot to improve on his game. This game, for example, is only an under-21 game. I'm not gonna get too carried away like how I'm seeing people already saying, "Oh, it's this and that." No, it's nothing. It's not. He's gonna improve. He has a potential that's definitely is there. I think he could be our Saka if he perform and develop the way he needs to. But I'm not gonna put too much expectation on him.
I believe. Here's the thing. I'm a strong believer in taking it gradual with young players, but we haven't seen anything close to gradual in his case. That's why I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm concerned as well. I'm concerned about it. Like he played 2 games and then suddenly it just disappeared. We don't know how you expecting someone like this to develop in the players that we all want him to be. So again, it's down to the manager to use this talent properly, especially if they.
Because I get it. We need a huge squad, but when you need a huge squad, you don't make it a situation where young players are in the squad and they're not even getting enough game time that will be good enough for their development. I think it's not okay.
That's not okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But he's a good player. I'm not gonna lie. And when I watch it, you can see he has something. Like he can dribble past people. He's fearless. I like players like that. He's not scared of taking on anyone, even though he's had a lot of injuries in his past. But he looks like, when he has the ball, he's very positive. Run at you, try to create something, and that's really good.
Yeah. Again, people, if you're watching, if you haven't taken a second, drop a like on the stream, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much. 42 likes. Let's get it to at least 50. It looks like it's a slow day today, but it's a fun show overall. Let's see your thoughts on Noni Madueke's performance. Some people, I'm not basing my judgment as to why he isn't getting in what I would consider enough minutes. I'm not basing my judgment with regards of his performance in this youth competition, but I think even in Netherlands he was excellent. He was excellent, and probably if he does, if we continue again on the current trajectory, he'd be questioning why he left PSV actually in the first place, because he was a starter for them. But that's, by the way, these are his peers. Okay. Then Kante just had to go under the knife for a hamstring. I guess that was because of scar tissue build up. How different is this to Arjen Robben? Constant harness. He wasn't overweight either. So that's a solid argument. It looks like you want to say something to that, Rodrigo.
No, I agree with him. Yeah, it's not. Maybe it's not due to the weight. Like that's a good point with Arjen Robben.
Yeah. So I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to go too much into that. But you make a good argument, especially with young players. I think don't give up on them. There's a chance if they go under the knife, the problem will be sorted out, and that's a good contribution there from Bobby Fairview. He doesn't have Robben agility. We're not compelling anybody to Robben there. He reminds me more of a Bale. He's predictable. He needs to fix that. He can learn. We're gonna get rid of some players so these kids can get a run. With regards to this comment, Rodrigo, if I say mention a few players, I'm guessing you're gonna mention Ziyech, and who else are you gonna mention?
Ziyech, Pulisic. Who else? Mainly Ziyech. That's in his position. Yeah,
he's the one that's already on his way.
The formation. I feel like we need to go back to, obviously, when we're in preseason, when there's not much pressure on the manager, to go back to a back four and have a formation we can put at least 4 attackers on the pitch. It's gonna benefit a lot from that as well.
Yeah, he will indeed. Let's see what we have here. It was against France under 21. Badiashile with many starting players. Madueke is worth the hype. I think he's worth the hype. Do I think it's a finished product? No, he still has a lot to learn. Cho's problem is more of his confidence issues. And he's actually still 20. Is this still 21,
he's
right?
21, yes, 21.
So probably the club will look to keep him rather than sell him. If Noni does not drop confidence, sorry?
No, I agree. Yeah, please carry on reading.
Okay. If Noni does not drop confidence, he won't be good. That's why he needs a game time. Yep. I'm concerned. Yeah, I get it. We need a deep squad, but you don't do a deep squad with young players who need to play. I'm not saying they should be starting every game, but they need a certain amount of game to continue their development. If that makes sense. So that makes sense. Just talking to Neri there, James. Has muscle, not fat. I don't think he's overweight. Muscles are not heavy. Wow. Some argument. I'm not an expert with regards to any of this topics you guys are bringing up there. Let's talk about this guy. Santos. He played 65 minutes
I watched that
for
game.
Brazil. His senior national team debut. Yeah, go ahead. Tell us what are your observations with regards to his performance?
He didn't look ready. He looks a bit lost. He looks like a boy in a man's game.
In the midst of our dogs.
Yeah, you need to adapt. Again, one of those. I saw a lot of Chelsea fans already putting him in lineup with Enzo and stuff. We need to calm down with this kid. We need to let him grow. Let him learn. He's not. I don't think he's. Maybe now ready is a big word, but he's not there yet. We need to be patient with Santos. There is potential there. There's a player there, but he's not the finished article. He's not a player that where you built your starting 11 and then you say, right, he's next to Enzo now. No, not yet. We need to, maybe in a season. I'll say we can even send him on loan to a championship or even a Premier League club where it's guaranteed game time. Yeah, I'll say.
Let's look at his numbers. And if you're in the chat, if you watch that game, let me know. Do you agree with Rodrigo or do you want to slander him? I want to hear what you want to say.
Amrabat is a good player.
Yeah, I like Amrabat. Still my first choice. I think I've told you that before. My first choice in terms of signing a traditional DM. I think Ismail Vanessa. Oh, you said that already because you knew I was going to say that.
Yeah, exactly.
So he played 65 minutes. Total shots. Go ahead if you were saying something.
Sorry, look at that. Yeah, because I was watching the game and I couldn't see him enough because he only touched the ball 21 times. See, it's not enough. He was because he's a kid. Isn't he? He was probably hiding.
Yeah, probably trying to play safe.
Compare that to Enzo. Enzo touched the ball 50 times in a game, so you can see him. Look.
But here, how about the argument? He's playing with an entirely different set of players.
Yeah, Brazil.
And how long did they train together?
Exactly. Yeah. So, but I still think he's it's too. I'll give him another loan.
No, that doesn't mean, again, even at that, I think I get your point. We still need to take it gradually. But go ahead with what you were saying.
I'd give him another loan. I wasn't. I wasn't. It wasn't a wow or a very bad performance. It was just a performance you expect from a youngster, basically.
So you wouldn't even give him chance, given the fact that he's playing with a different set of 11.
No, it comes to Chelsea in League Cup games. If we have, like, say, Shrewsbury in the third round of the League Cup, or we play, like, say, Plymouth in the FA Cup, yeah, he should start those games. But to start in a Premiership straight away, I don't think so. I don't think he's that level yet.
Let's see what happens. Another thing I'm considering, maybe there's a chance the structure differs from what he played for the youth team. I'm not sure. I didn't pay attention to the structure they played with mainly. I think I should have checked that.
The opposition, the youth team, the opposition is what? They're all babies, basically. He's playing kids.
I'm saying maybe the structure is different.
Yeah. He had Casemiro next to him as well, and he didn't even look that impressive.
But how often have they played together or trained together?
That's his first game. His first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's his debut actually, and I actually thought he had his played he made his debut earlier. I didn't know the match was I think what day actually? It was yesterday.
Saturday.
Okay, yeah. So he played 65 minutes. Total shots 2 shots. Accurate passes 13 out of 21. 62%. That's not bad. Chances created 1. Shot accuracy 1 out of 1. Block shot 1. Touches 38. Passes into the final third 3. That should be a bit higher given where he's starting. So if he progresses the ball well, he should have more. Accurate long balls 2 out of 2. That's excellent. Dispossessed 1 time. Tackles 1 out of 3. That's poor. Blocks 1. Recoveries 1. Dribbled past 1 time. Ground duels 1. 5 out of 9. That's not bad. Aerial duels 1 out of 3. That's poor. was fouled 2 times, fouls committed one time. That's not a bad performance, but like you
You
said,
can see that they're like shy numbers. These are numbers you expect from a youngster that just plays first game,
especially in the midst of again a more experienced player.
Yeah, he's like, I want personally. I would if I was Chelsea, I want to develop him more in a more defensive role because he has the energy to do that role. I want him to be more like more defensive midfielder.
So with the argument, some fans saying he should be Kante's understudy, is that okay with you?
Can't understand it. That's Kante is a unique player. Well, if he can try, he can try. Yeah, that would be good. That would be good if you can learn from Kante. Yeah.
All right. I think it wasn't bad, but I get your point. It's not perfect. Not up to par. He got 6.2. He's one of the least rated players there. Ronnie got 6.2. Who else? Vinicius got 6.4. But Morocco outplayed them, really.
Yeah, Morocco played really well. I know he was
Yeah. Yeah, they were home too, yeah. Brazil doesn't seem to do well every time they play away.
Yeah.
Especially in Africa. I don't know if it is the weather. Go ahead.
Plus, it's a friendly, Morocco probably they were all hyped for this game.
Given the opponent, right?
But yeah, the opponent and stuff, so they raised to the occasion. Because I'm sure if they play in a tournament where it matters, I don't think Morocco will get anywhere near Brazil the way they did.
Yeah, but you can't cancel this one, right? You can't say they didn't win this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's in the record. Pulisic played well for the US. Yeah, he played well. That was mopping the floor with. That wasn't nice from the US. Was it 7-1?
Oh,
I think it.
4-0.
Yeah, but that wasn't fair, really. But that's, by the way, I will keep Santos on the bench next season instead of loan. If Chelsea is that good up, is a good potential. Starting on the bench will be good. He can be better next season, like Mavinga first year in Real Madrid last year. I think that's a solid argument right there. Santos didn't play bad, just didn't play real good. Yeah. Which is the same thing Rodrigo said, and yeah. They started him in a senior squad for a reason. Yep, it would take time. He will adapt. He's new there. So yeah, I get it. Watch the game. His tackling was not bad, but overall his positioning was not good, and he could do deal with the press from Morocco. And Rodrigo have actually said that for a while now. I think his positional awareness has to improve. But he's a kid.
Exactly.
He's still 20, right? Yeah, so he will get there.
It's like when you watch games when they bring a kid from the academy and they play in the first team. You can just see like, oh yeah, then he's a kid from the academy. They're not bad. They're not very good. They're just there. They have point to improve.
Yeah, it won't be perfect fit immediately.
No, of course not. No. Yeah. But
so Rodrigo, he's saying, oh no, he didn't look good next to Casemiro. Like if that didn't happen, then he's not good enough. I think that's what he's insinuating. That's not the case. But I get. But go ahead, Rodrigo. You respond to that. You were the one that mentioned Casemiro.
Yeah, look, it well, it didn't really stand out. It didn't. I wasn't watching that game and say, wow, Santos is on the ball. Santos is doing something. Even in the build-up phase, I don't think he was there. It was like you can see from the numbers. He only touched the ball 38 times. That's not enough.
He didn't touch the ball too many times. How about if somebody argues they probably didn't pass to him that much because he's new?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's nothing. Again, this is not saying we're giving up on him. We're just being objective. Don't think he's gonna come back to Chelsea and be the starter there. No, it will be gradual. Yeah, so don't hold your breath thinking. Go ahead, Rodrigo.
This was important to keep one of Kante, Kovacic, and then you have like a kid like Santos on a bench. Even you never know. Training with these guys is just good for him, and then he will get his game time. It's just down to
he will. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, he won most duels in the midfield for the Brazil. Did he? What really?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm not gonna start checking it right now. Coach, the only reason I trust Potter with player development, we
We saw.
we saw what he did with those Brighton players. He gave a lot of players a football career. You could argue that. Cut him some slack. Yeah, we're cutting him some slack. We're not slandering him. I thought even the most average kind of player suddenly comes out gold when plays next to Casemiro. But this is he's too young. Casemiro probably be protecting him more rather than giving the ball more, if that makes sense, or coaching him more on the pitch.
Yeah.
Don't judge midfield on stats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't judge midfield on stats. You have to watch them, and I did watch the game. I actually have.
Yeah.
I think I have the link. I can see if someone wanna watch it again.
I think I want to watch it, so you can send me the link later. I want to watch it really. Against good Moroccan midfield, and Moroccans are good, like Eugene said in the chat. They're a good team, but I get what Rodrigo was saying in terms of there's nothing at stake really. It was just a friendly. But for Morocco, they'll take it more seriously. If they win, it goes on record. They beat Brazil. Santos will develop into a much better player than Casemiro. But Casemiro is different. He's different. I think there's something about him making any player that plays alongside him better. Santos is every day in contact with club about his development. Yeah, that makes sense. The club want him to come back, be part of the preseason, and he's a big kid. He gets a chance, but don't hold your breath in terms of him. You're seeing him week in, week out. I don't see that happening. Player development is full of details, but tactics ahead of next game is overhyped thing. Football is not a rocket science, just as simple as that. Okay, Dacho Fofana, Madueke Santos are not part of the first team next year, out on loan to develop with these long contracts. It's a romance loan program all over again, eventually with even more deadwood. Wow. That is concerning, really. Thank you so much for that link. I'll copy it and put it where I can watch it later. Rodrigo, was that down to the instructions from the Brazil coach? I really don't. I think he already told you it's about his age, and he hasn't. How long he hasn't trained with these players this much? Because this is, you can say, this is Brazil starting 11 with a few. I don't know much about Ronnie. I'm not sure how often he's played for this senior team, but they have Rodrigo. He's been part of the senior team for a while. Vinicius, Paquita, Casemiro. Look at the names there. Alex Telles and all these guys. Rodrigo, you have anything to say with what we have on the screen so we can call it a day, actually? All right, people, if you have anything else you want us to talk about, I have about 10 minutes to go. Yeah, it's a slow one today, but it's fun because we had to interact. So we talked about what are the stuff we talked about here. We're not going to do anything about the lineup today. Maybe the next show we'll start building the lineup again, the 4-3-3, and then we'll do 4-2-3-1 structure, and every other structure we know here. Try. We talked about this, the loss. Hopefully, yeah, we find a way to balance the books so we're not in trouble. But so that we can be able to actually sign more players and also not in trouble. We talked about Chelsea, also one of the top clubs.
Yeah. By the way, I sent you the link for the.
Yeah, I saw that, and I said I'll copy it so that I can watch it later. Yeah. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah.
Chelsea, Man United are top clubs leading the race for Manu Kone. Yeah, it remains to be seen whether we have the money. It depends on how much is going forward. We talked about Noni Madueke, and then we looked at the stats on with regards to how what's his name, Andrey Santos performed for Brazil against Morocco in a friendly. So, Rodrigo, anything else you want to talk about, or should we call it a day?
No, I think it's been a good show. Hopefully, we'll be playing this weekend. Aston Villa. Okay.
What dates? Let me check again the date.
Saturday. We play on Saturday.
This coming Saturday?
Yeah, it's a late evening kickoff.
What date is that in particular?
What's first of
is this the second?
April Fool's Day.
Oh, let me see. Chelsea said we'll play April 1st. Yeah, on the day of April. We play them because I think on the 8th I'll be in Texas on the 8th till when I have to see, but I'll still try to do the show from Texas.
Yeah, don't worry
Wow.
about when you're in Texas. We're gonna be playing Real Madrid, so don't worry about that. We're gonna lose anyways.
We'll play Real Madrid on April.
On 11 of April.
Oh, that's the second leg is 18th. So April 12th.
Yeah.
We're playing on the 12th. We'll play the Real Madrid on the 12th. I think I'll still be in Texas. But I probably still I'll find a way to still do a show there.
Enjoy Texas. Enjoy Texas. Don't let Potter this.
It's Easter vacation, but I think I will still try to do it. Rodrigo, was that down to the instruction? Again, I think Rodrigo has explained. I don't know if he has anything else to say about that. It's a good sign if national team coach puts him out there to start. Yeah, they like him, they trust him, they understand his quality, and this is the time. The friendlies will help him. You could say integrate again gradually, get used to the senior players there, and start playing as a unit with them. One of the best teams in the world. Kone going for 50 million. That's not bad. Maybe if we make a few sales and we're able to balance the book, maybe we should be able to get him. Porter will be like, we're going to win, but results be like D or L. And he comes out saying, gotcha, April Fools. Fans are going to riot if he does it, but I get where you're coming from. Coachella, you're a bounty hunter. What are you calling me a bounty hunter, man? Thanks for the stream, coach. And Rodrigo gave everything.
Yeah.
I love
the boy gave everything.
So, Rodrigo, anything else you want to say, brother?
That's it. The boy gave everything.
Yeah, Rodrigo gave everything.
That's life. That's life.
Yeah. And that's life. So with that, I'm going to say thank you to everyone in the chat. I think the Bluetooth again just typed something else, so I'm going to wait and read it. So move on from that. I don't know if that's the old one. Yeah, I think it's going to come up. This one here, it says, Bali should abandon his single manager philosophy and adopt a coalition management model with you and Rodrigo. This channel has better predicted lineups, transfers, a system, and formations. Thank you so much, brother. Much love. The beautiful game.
Yeah.
Love you so
like
much,
we said,
brother.
Coach, you are a lineup merchant.
Yeah, I think, was he the one that said that?
Yeah. You're hybrid striker lineup merchant.
Yeah, a lot of people say, yeah, they call me hybrid the other one, but we're good. Much love. Jean Felix wants to create a group chat to connect with people. That being said, I loved him here and wish him well at Madrid next season. I get where that's good. Rodrigo, did you see that comment?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be... Sorry?
The weather's good in Madrid anyway, so...
Yeah, somebody said that. I still think it's going to be difficult to keep him. It's not going to be easy. But let's see what happens. Yeah, much love to everyone. Rodrigo, I cannot thank you enough. Much love to the Bluetooth game. Glenn, my bro, I appreciate that. And Eugene, where's Roger? How much Gallagher pay for him to holiday? Roger's probably busy. Much love to you, Eugene. Much love to the Bluetooth game. Nashford, everyone that's in the chat, and Briani Raha, you my bro, aka 343 Dilemma. Keshawn, the New York guy. Neri, much love to you. Bobby Fairview, much love. Everyone that's in the chat, and if I missed your name, apologies, I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.